Inter closed in on Hakimi. There's a small crisis at Barcelona. Liverpool offer a Koulibaly makeweight, a transfer roundup, and Emoji Mondays, all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and you're probably thinking, things look a little bit different around here. This is Onefootball's new brand. This is what we've been building up to. There's a brand new app. There's loads of new stuff coming on the channel, and we welcome all of your feedback. There's still everything you love about it before. It's just everything looks new, looks cooler. Anyway, let's get on to the Daily News. So first up, and let's talk about Hakimi moving to Inter Milan, and this is something, actually I'm going to give my feedback on this. I don't get it. I just do not understand. Obviously, Dortmund wanted to keep him because he had a brilliant few seasons on loan. Real Madrid were pretty keen on not letting him stay at Dortmund, obviously because they had plans for him. So why on earth do they then just accept 40 million euros? Like, if they're just trying to cash in on him, fair enough, I kind of get it. But there is no way that you'd cash in on one of the best young fullbacks in European football, especially when Dani Carvajal is doing all right, I guess. I mean, he's not exactly lighting up La Liga from fullback, and that's exactly what Hakimi does. Don't get me wrong, he fits into the Inter system perfectly. He's just a younger, fresher, quicker, better Victor Moses and Ashley Young, who's the kind of old players that Antonio Conte brought in January. This is an incredible move, and it kind of begs the question, why is no one else interested? For 40 million, an unbelievable bargain, I would assume that every single club in Europe is like, oh, Hakimi's ready for 40 million, bam, I'm in, I'm putting my name in the hat. Seems like a real odd transfer that's kind of come out of nowhere, but with Inter Milan's really good record in transfer business in the last 18 months or so, this one doesn't surprise me so much from their end. But moving on, and to a small crisis is probably a strong word, but that's kind of what it's looking like at Barcelona at the moment. Now, not only did they drop points again with a 2-2 draw against Celta Vigo, something which I kind of predicted in my Friday feel, saying it would be tough for them, but also apparently there was a big row after the game with Quique Setien and the rest of the players. There was a little bit of an odd situation with Luis Suarez and a couple of reporters. When they asked about Barcelona's away form, he kind of looked and pointed at the bench as if to say they were at fault. This is something I don't quite understand. Apparently, the whole argument was that firstly, they don't like Setien's tactics. Secondly, he brought on Arthur Melo and Antoine Griezmann, who really didn't have the best of games when they came off the bench. But also on top of this, it seems that they don't really trust him to be their manager, and many of them feel they can't really win many trophies whilst at the club. Honestly, I kind of get it. I know that they want a really good figure in charge of the team. I know they want a great manager, they want someone who's going to inspire them and all the rest of this and that. But on the flip side, and I've mentioned this when it comes to Arteta at Arsenal as well, the players need to take some responsibility. Like, if the players were having better games, they were taking their chances and they weren't conceding sloppy goals, they'd be better on the pitch. I understand, obviously, that the substitutions they can't help and the tactics are going to be set out by the manager, but the calibre of player that Barcelona have got, the quality of player, should be enough to beat most teams in the league, never mind a relegation-threatened Celta Vigo. That's no disrespect to them, and they've been in great form recently, but you'd like to think that Messi and Suarez and co could do a little better on the pitch, regardless of what the manager is saying in the dressing room. Anyway, what this does mean is that Real Madrid had the perfect chance to break away at the top of the table, and they did that with a 1-0 victory over Espanyol. They're now 2 points clear, and the bad news for Barcelona is it gets even worse as they welcome Atletico Madrid to the Nou Camp on Thursday. Now, normally Barcelona do have the better Atletico, but given the way they're playing at the moment and how much is at stake, you could see them panicking a little bit, and it wouldn't be surprising if Atletico managed to get at least a point off the current La Liga champions. Moving on though, and to some transfer news now, and Liverpool apparently back ahead in the race for Kalidou Koulibaly. This one threatens to go on all summer, and it's mainly because no one can agree over the price. Apparently, the Napoli president was holding out for around 100 million. Then he said he dropped the asking price to around 70. Then he said he wouldn't accept anything below 60, and it's all getting a little bit confusing. So, 54 million was the first offer that Liverpool made a few months ago. Manchester United made one around 70, which was rejected. Sorry, Manchester City. But now it looks like Liverpool are really ready to bargain the price down just a little bit by including Dejan Lovren. This to me kind of makes sense. Don't get me wrong, Lovren is definitely not as good a defender as Kalidou Koulibaly, but when it comes to finding a replacement for him, it's a pretty good deal for Napoli. They're still going to get quite a bit of money for Koulibaly, and then they're already going to have a ready replacement. It really works. From Liverpool's point of view though, I'm not so sure they need him. Obviously, signing one of the best defenders in the world to play alongside the other best defender in the world, or one of the best defenders in the world, is a really good decision. But Liverpool maybe don't really need him. Is this going to stop Joe Gomez getting a run in the team? If so, that's pretty bad for his career. Obviously, having multiple options is good, but when they're all that top quality level of player, they're all going to want to play. There's no way you could have, okay, Van Dijk definitely starts. There's no way you can have Koulibaly or Gomez sitting there and be like, you get to play the League Cup games. Or if we've got, a Champions League game against an easier opponent, you get to play. I'm not sure that's going to go down well with anyone, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not Jurgen Klopp actually pushes through the deal. So next up in a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news, where Arjen Robben has come out of retirement 1 year later from Bayern Munich to return to his first side, Groningen, in the Eredivisie. Mauricio Pochettino is apparently attracting interest from Benfica, who are willing to talk to him about becoming their new manager. Hertha Berlin's out-of-contract forward Solomon Kalou is close to agreeing a deal with Brazilian side Botafogo. And in the FA Cup over the weekend, there were victories for Arsenal, who set up a semi-final tie with Manchester City, and the other one sees Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United face off against Frank Lampard's Chelsea. So next up, in a quick roundup of your Friday feels, where you guys left your footballing predictions in the comments section over the weekend. And before you say it, yes, I got my prediction of Erling Haaland to score a hat-trick completely and utterly wrong. But one person who didn't was AJ Krishna, who correctly guessed that Chelsea would run out 1-0 winners over Leicester in that FA Cup quarter-final. Hashim Ali guessed that Werder Bremen would save themselves, and they did for now, as they managed a 6-1 victory over the weekend, which means they have a chance to stay in the Bundesliga in their relegation playoff with Heidenheim. And lastly but not least, Khalid Abu Omar guessed correctly that Manchester City would be 2-0 winners over Newcastle, Kevin De Bruyne, the birthday boy, scoring alongside Raheem Sterling. Next up, we come to Emoji Mondays. For those of you who don't know what this is, we're bringing it back. This is where we at OneFootball throw a couple of emojis down over some of the hottest weekend's action. First off, it's the best player. This has to go to Andre Kramaric. Now, not only did Hoffenheim pull off a rather spectacular win at second place Dortmund over the weekend, they also won 4-0 away from home, and Kramaric scored all 4. If that isn't worthy of player of the weekend, I don't know what is. Next up, and the best result, and we're staying in the Bundesliga, and as we just mentioned before, it is the Werder Bremen result. They haven't scored too many this season, and they were in a relegation spot before the final game of the season. So what do? They whipped out a 6-1 victory over Cologne, which sees them go into the relegation playoffs. Now, for those of you who don't follow the Bundesliga, basically the third worst team in the Bundesliga and the third best team in the second Bundesliga have a playoff to decide if they're going to swap places or if they're going to stay the same. And finally, the craziest thing to happen over the weekend wasn't actually on the football pitch. It was that Arta agreed to move to Juventus. This one I still can't get my head around. He signed a 5-year deal with the Italian champions. He's going to be moving to Serie A with Milan Pjanic, 7 years his senior, moving in return to Barcelona. So there you have it. There is our Emoji Mondays. Let us know yours in the comment section down below, your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news, and your feedback on everything about the brand new OneFootball. Of course, check out the app as well whilst you're at it, and let us know your thoughts. That's all from me for today, though. Make sure you smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other stuff we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.